Hello, we are back with another episode, and I must say, this past week or have you has been transformative. This is a letter to the boys that paint their nails. Um, yeah, I finally went and done it. What I mean went and done it is means that I feel like with me and painting my nails, it's always been a thing of a way to express my goth, a way to express myself, right? Because there's different ways that people express themselves, and especially with goth, like they do like the eyeliner, they do the hair, and they do the accessories and stuff like that. But I prefer the subtleties of just painting my nails, and that's like the reasons why I did it. When did it all start? Didn't have access to nail polish when I was in middle school, so I often did create these extravaganza gloves, right? So I remember taking the ends of a t-shirt, cutting it up, and then stitching it together to form these gloves out of it to have my sense of gothic aesthetic, like from bands like Axing Alexander or Pierce the Veil, and they wore things like that. But when I went to college, that's when I actually started painting them. And I remember sometimes right before I left, I would paint them, and then whether I was in my car or on, yeah, I think I was in my car when I had my car at the time in college. I used to just paint them, and before I would go home, I would take like the nail polish and make sure that I had it off. And there would be times where around the rim of my finger you could see the nail polish that was still like remnants of it. And I started doing black. When I went on my own, went to business for myself and started living on my own, I painted it more, didn't even hide that my nails were being painted around my parents. And then I started experimenting with some colors because a girl read me. She's like, "Oh, all you do is wear black." And I started doing red. I started doing blue and all these other different colors. And there was still an unwritten rule, like, okay, when I'm on my own, you can have them painted, right? Paint on black, paint on blue, paint on red, paint on whatever color, right? I particularly like dark colors. That's just me, right? So I had them painted, but the moment I would work, I didn't do that because I didn't want to mess up the bag, right? Even with the job that I had previously, I didn't do it because it relied a lot on public perception, how people perceive you, and I couldn't do it then, or didn't feel comfortable doing it within a space that I am. So with my current role, I'm able to not only feel safe, feel comfortable, but I felt like it was the time to bring this other side of myself out to the forefront. Especially when there was one of these HR trainings that says like, hey, there's this individual that paints their nails and you shouldn't be treating them differently because of that. And so like, hey, I'm like, hey, if I got the backing of this training, then maybe I should do it. And I plan to do it long after my probationary period at this job happened. But then I just realized that it doesn't make sense to wait to that period. Talking it over with a coworker, she explained to me that regardless of what a person thinks, they still rely on you. You bring value to the space that you're in, and they rely on you as a service. And I reached such a level of confidence around my birthday. Granted, I'm nobody different than you. I'm human just like you, but I realized that I am so valuable. The service that I provide to people is not easily to replace, and understanding the value that I bring and how confident I am and can be in different spaces, it makes no sense to hide it. So now, instead of having to switch on and off between being myself, and being myself is like the nails painting thing, I don't have to do that anymore, right? And I don't have to worry about the stigma that other people's projections right, because I wish someone would say something, because that's early retirement. That's early retirement, because I'm automatically saying, oh yeah, homophobe, oh HR, yeah, got him. That would be my early retirement. But it's, yeah, like, you may not understand it, you may not like it, but it's just me being me, and then that's okay. And I need to be comfortable with being me in all stages and walks of life, not a thing of turning me on and off. Like, yes, you do have work and life boundaries. You do this here, you do this there. But as far as being me, something as simple as doing my nails, right? It should be fine, especially considering that I see the women at my job, they're able to dye their hair, paint their nails, and do different things, and even wear earrings. So seeing that, it's like, hey, why do I limit myself? I should still be able to do the same things. And if anybody says something, oh man, it would be one. But yeah, I'm learning to be more comfortable with myself. No, not learning. I have learned to be more comfortable with myself, because the last barrier, the last thing that was in my way was literally this. And not to say that there won't be any adversity in the future, not to say that I won't run into someone that doesn't understand or someone that has questions, right? So far it's been overwhelmingly positive. Overwhelmingly positive, I mean, no one has said shit. It's just, it fits me so well that no one has even addressed it. I even went into spaces where I didn't think that I could go in those spaces and have my nose painted, and people made a big deal out of it. But like, no, they're just going with the floor. Like, no, this is just this is him, and he brings so much value to the space that I'm willing to overlook this, or I'm not willing to jeopardize what I have him doing for me, just because of my own bias, right? And then also, it's not like that big of a deal. There are some stereotypes that go along with painting nails. I know, like, some people, they see like, hey, if he paints his nail, that means he must be feminine, or they assume that person's sexuality, like, oh, he's gay or whatnot. And none of those things are true, right? It's just a way of expressing yourself. And I'm also at the point where I know I don't have to overly explain myself. It's simply, I want to, right? And I don't care what another individual thinks at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, I said at the end of the day twice, I'm the one that has to live my life. I'm the one that has to walk around with this. And if I'm okay with living my truth and I'm okay with doing this, then that's fine, right? It doesn't matter what anyone else says or thinks or what have you. It's just me doing me at the end of the day, right? And this is how I express my goth. And it's not something that I'm going to turn off, and it's not something that I'm going to hide. And part of it was being in a space where I felt comfortable to be myself. And it's weird that it took all this long, because there has always been some time where I was hiding, whether I'm coming home from school and getting the polish off, or I no longer have to worry about school, but I'm going to work and then having to take the nail polish off. But yeah, we don't have to do that shit anymore. We can just be ourselves 24/7, right? That's all I have for now. If this video has been transformative for you, it made you think about something, if it even made you think like, hey, I want to be more myself in other spaces, or you get an understanding of why I paint my nails, or why others may, or maybe it inspires you to just be yourself, but also realizing that regardless of what you do, someone's always gonna have something to say, right? Any of those conclusions, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. We are currently at the time of this video at 70 subscribers, and it's not gonna stop. It's gonna keep going up.